What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Vince Rashad, aka the Truth Terrorist. And I live in a city that's a slight majority of black people. It's a little bit over 300,000 or so people. Small town, relatively, nice sized city, but in the overall spirit of things, nowhere near the size of a Houston, Chicago, definitely not New York or LA. But it's considerably a lot of black people in this city. Like I said, it's a slight majority of the city is black. So, there's all type of real fine black women. And I was paying my cell phone bill the other day at this cell phone carrier. And I seen a fine sister. I seen quite a few fine sisters at the mall, all up in the mall on the weekend, and at the grocery store, in the streets, everywhere. But as we all know, Barack Obama has sold us down the river, and about 58%, you might as well say 60% of black people are living in poverty. And something that I really, needless to say, it's not something that began with Barack Obama. They just used Barack Obama as a front man to impoverish and disenfranchise black people, basically. But something stuck out to me as I was observing and just looking and just taking mental notes. And that is the poverty of the single mother, aka the American black woman, period. Now that doesn't imply that all of us are living in poverty, but let's just face the facts. If 58% of your community is living in poverty, the majority of black people are living in poverty. And those who are not living in poverty are just slightly, at best, slightly above the poverty line by no more than $2,000 or $3,000. I wouldn't be surprised if it was by no more than $1,000 that most black people who are not living in poverty are out of poverty. But something came to mind, and that's the word ghetto hypergamy. Now, we all know, if you are Ibmor, MGTOW, what hypergamy is. And it just stuck out to me that you can literally look at many of the issues that confront black people, and you can look at how far advanced we are as a people, how far advanced or how far not advanced we are as a people, and you can contribute it to this ghetto hypergamy, a hypergamous mentality. And what I mean when I say ghetto, or I might say nigger hypergamy, it's this thing where you can judge the progress specifically of the men of the race. Because regardless of what anybody says on YouTube, men live for women. They really do. Much of what a man pursues in life is for the impressing a woman or being validated by a woman, the woman of his desires, preferably the woman of his dreams. But if you actually look at the ghetto hypergamous mentality, it's basically women who don't expect much. Because I was just listening, just overhearing these two women talk, and sister was fine. And see, that's the thing that sticks out to me, how fine. If you actually look at it, you will observe that the finest and the best looking women in the black community are typically located in the poorest areas. And if you put together just one big giant societal picture, it tells you a whole lot. That if the social expectation of women is for men to build and to create an infrastructure that makes life comfortable for her, then these women don't expect much. Now, I will say this: the white establishment does not build that much in the black community. But what it has built, it has left the remnant of it to black people. So the hypergamous ghetto female will live in a relatively breaking down house or a old apartment building that's maybe low cost income or low income based. And she'll do just what she has to do to get her bills or whatever. But she doesn't have a lot of expectation because in the overall spirit of things, systematically, she's in poverty. Many women don't work, period, and they don't even make half in a year of what a person living right at the poverty line makes. They don't even make half of that. But, as I listen to these ghetto or gutter females running their mouths about what was going down, because there was one of these Negro gatherings that was happening, where all the guys with the brand new rims on a 30-year-old vehicle are out there. And, they was talking about going out there to hook up with the ballers. Or, girl, you didn't know how many ballers was out there. And something occurred to me. Two things. And that is the white established order and black poverty will always be around. Because colorism and self-hatred will always cause black people to lift anybody who is light-skinned or any of the other races that are somewhat light or, these racially ambiguous, somewhat white-looking people. Black people are just going to stick those people right above them. And what a black person, a black woman living in the ghetto, her perception of a man having something is really no more than a baller. You can come to the understanding and realization why so many black men will stand in line waiting to get some $150 Michael Jordan shoes on. Or why they'll spend $100 on some jeans or $200 or $300 on some jeans and $300 on a belt. Like the situation we had a couple years ago at Barney's in New York, where the guy was spending $300 on a belt and they didn't even want his money. And why black men so prioritize having a vehicle above having real true wealth and real true power. Because a vehicle, a shiny car, a set of Michael Jordan shoes, and some overpriced clothes will give him baller status in the eyes of a woman with ghetto hypergamy. Her expectation is that he will just make it rain on her or just throw her a little money, Sometimes it ain't even that much. It's like $40, $50, $100 for her to script and for all her homegirls to come script and show their butts and maybe give him a little piece of ass. Or she'll ride around in a baller's car. But at the end of the day, when you look up the stats, when you look up the statistics, black men own less than 25% of all the homes and apartments in the black community. So these ballers aren't really men with any type of wealth or money, or they ain't even got a basic home to live in. Not even a basic duplex most of the time. These are dudes who bounce back and forth between their mamas, their sisters, and their girlfriends. Just a complete matriarchy. And there's no expectation, no matter what woman you run into. Some black women, have expectations. They want their man to have a house and a car, but with the matriarchal power mindset that many black women have, there's a lot of black women nowadays who don't even want a man to help them pay bills because they don't want him to have no say-so in the relationship. He can just be a little boy toy subject to being thrown out and put out in the street or being forced to go back to his mama's house. Or either they will have a preferred man that they like, that they don't want him to do nothing. They don't even want him to work a lot of the time. They just want him to be there so he can be an easily controllable guy, because not throwing any real money around to pay bills and rent and mortgage or nothing basically puts him in a disposable nigga position. And, with the matriarchal power complex that many women have, it's all about power and rulership. So at times it's like you think that they deliberately look for men who just have a simple outward perception of being somebody with money, aka a baller, or somebody with a little swag, a little charisma, a little appeals to the women, might be a little bit of a pretty boy or whatever. But there's never any expectation from them other than to get all other than to just want simply a man who has no more than the perception of being somebody. Most of these niggas are broke. Or either they guys who are, marginal men on the outer edges of society who, like I said, might have some Jordans, some J's, and he might have some rims. But that's all that he has. And that's all that they expect. And if you look at the environment that they come from, it's violent, there's poverty, unemployment. The houses are typically older, made out of wood. They're rotting and falling to pieces. And there's this, all I want is a baller mindset. And like I said, if you look at the biggest hips, the biggest butts, you would literally look at a lot of fine-ass black women living in these poor-ass areas, and you would honestly say that this woman could probably get anybody that she wants, or most of the men that she wanted. So why does she live in poverty? She clearly can't be asking for that much. She can't be asking for that much. So out of all these ballers that they mess with, the only thing that they getting is some dick and a temporary ride in his, 2012, Tahoe, sitting on some rims, and he's probably investing every single penny that he makes at his $9 or $10 hour job, just, making the payments on a stretch, navigator or some shit with some rims on it. And he's probably got a little bit of money left over to throw at some females. I even seen a fine-ass black woman who was with like a 60-something-year-old dirty-ass trick. It's like this old dirty-ass dude who looked damn near like a bum was in the place buying her a new phone. So this is who they tricking off to. And that's something that I done seen a big time since I moved to this new area. I done seen like 20-something-year-old fine-ass sisters. I ain't gonna lie, sisters be fine. But they got like a 60 or 70-year-old sugar daddy trick. And then she go out there, with her butt out, with her boy shorts. It's summertime, they got the boy shorts on. With the boy shorts and, the cleavage all squeezed up on her chest, looking all juicy. And, they jump in the car with, these $5 ass baller niggas who got on $500 worth of clothes and anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 worth of rims on an old ass vehicle sometime. And sometime, like I said, if she's lucky, it'll be a relatively new model vehicle, but often it's like a 1990s or early 2000s model vehicle with like $5,000 26-inch rims on it, And it's no more than being happy while living in poverty with a baller. You know what I'm saying? Somebody with just a superficial, externalized, fake sense of being rich. He's got many of the external things that a rich nigga would have, but none of the real true things that a baller, a real true rich man with resources actually has. But it was just a thought. And that was denoting of how the finest of black women live in the poorest of area, clearly indicating to you two things that's happening. Either they're living on the old infrastructure that white society left behind, so they don't expect too much from niggas other than them to look rich, or either they're living poor because the men don't have that much of an incentive to build if the only thing that he can do is look externally with some J's on his feet like somebody that actually has something. Anyway, this concludes my video on ghetto hypergamy and the absolute impoverished environment of the big hip, badunkadunk butt, large-breasted black woman. You'll notice that the finest of black women live in the most impoverished, violent, deprived areas of the black community. It's a damn shame. But anyway, it's your boy Vince Rashad, a.k.a. The Truth Terrorist 2. Holla at y'all, man.